If you are a psychotherapist looking to get featured in top media outlets, think your favorite podcasts, online publications, I'm here today to talk about how PR strategies can actually support your endeavors in doing that as a psychotherapist. Now, if you're new to the channel, my name is Bridget Cisco. I am the co-founder of Visibility on Purpose. We help small business owners, product companies, personal brands, and subject matter experts like you as psychotherapists get featured in the media. I think there's this thought that you need to be Kim Kardashian or like Tesla or have a lot of money to get media features, but it's actually way easier than you think. And I've been doing this myself for the past couple of years. I've gotten featured in Entrepreneur, Yoga Journal, Delish Magazine, and a number of other top publications, as well as being interviewed on over 50 podcasts. My business partner, Lydia, has been a publicist for over a decade, and she has worked with Grammy Award-winning artists like James Bay, ex-Ambassadors, Beach Boys. So we know what we're talking about here, and we like to make it simple. Simple, simple, simple. So 5 things I want you to know and think about. Number one, why is PR essential for you as a psychotherapist? Well, really media coverage or media mentions where you are quoted in certain journals or magazines or even interviewed on podcasts, it establishes credibility and trust, right? There's probably a lot of other psychotherapists who might be in person, and you might actually also have online work. And this is really where this can support you even more, because how do we stand out from someone else who offers similar work? Maybe you focus on childhood trauma. Maybe you focus on grief or loss or death in a family, and you actually support clients in those capacities. So beyond that, we're always thinking about what makes us different and unique. And when we are featured in the media, it just adds this layer and level of credibility and trust. It positions you as an expert in your field. And what I love to remind you also is that it can help you reach more people beyond just those one-on-one sessions. And I've seen it for myself. I've seen it with my own psychotherapist. She offers courses and programs and group work as well. So one thing that PR can really support is bringing people into her sphere for not just one-on-one client sessions, because that obviously can be taxing. You have a capacity, you have a limit, you can only have a certain amount of people that you work with on a weekly or daily basis. And sometimes that can get you burnt out, right? Now, I want to go over number 2 here today is what are the best strategies for psychotherapists? Really, my favorite is podcast guesting. Now, if you're anything like me, I love listening to podcasts. I just had my first baby, and I had been listening to a podcast for the last, 9-10 months, all about that specific topic. So you as a psychotherapist and you as a psychotherapist who actually focuses on certain, niches, whether that is grief, loss, death, binge eating, whatever category, childhood trauma, whatever that looks like for you, you can talk about that on podcasts. And what I love about podcasts is although you might have some of those differentiators, whether it's through what you talk about, whether it's through your niche, whether it's through your background, whether it's through your process or methodology that you take clients through. Maybe you have like a mind, body, soul, spiritual, somatic approach to your therapy practice. You're also able to have a wider conversation, because when you are a guest on a podcast, you get to talk about why you got into the work that you're doing. And I don't know about you, but there's this incredible book by Simon Sinek called Start With Why. And it really talks about how our why as business owners is the crux of our work. And I guarantee that you as a therapist, there's a deeper reason that you got into the work that you're doing. Maybe you had a personal loss, or, you lost a parent early on and you thought to yourself, wow, I really could have used this type of support. A lot of us have that pain to purpose story. And I'm sure doing the work that you're doing, you likely have some sort of story as to why you're doing the work that you are doing. So podcast guesting, that is going to be like such a good way for you to do this. There are millions of podcasts out there, millions of podcasts out there these days. So there's a lot of opportunity for you. A lot of opportunity for you to have conversations that matter to you, which we absolutely love. So how do you get on a podcast? Well, we love to recommend like writing a pitch, which is literally just an introduction to your brand and the topic that you'd want to talk about on a show that would be of value to that show host or to that show's audience, and you send it to them. We've gotten some incredible pitches over the years on our show Visibility Era, which you might be listening to right now. You're watching currently this video. We've gotten pitches, and the ones that we choose are the ones that are valuable to our audience and the conversations that we want to be having. So it's really just about positioning yourself, it's about introducing yourself, and it's about taking that first step forward. Now, next thing you can be thinking about are expert quotes in the media. We love sites, and I've done so many tutorials on this. Quoted. We have a link to sign up for that right below this video. You have featured.com, you have source of sources, you have Facebook groups, you have Substacks. Like there's so many ways that you can provide a quote. And now you are a subject matter expert. You also have training, right? You had to get some sort of schooling, maybe even a master's degree to become a therapist. You have to be maybe a counselor or maybe you're a licensed social worker. You've done some work to get where you are today. And think about media content like magazine articles or editorial content. Like we're talking more so digital magazines these days. Those writers need you because they're not therapists and they need sources like you to really prove their story and build up credibility for what they're writing. Okay. So you might want to be talking about mental health or loss or grief or, the impact of screen time in today's generation, whatever it might be. So that's kind of another strategy you could utilize, expert quotes in the media. We have an entire program on this. So if you want to learn more, just click the link below. It's called Pitch Party. We think that getting press should be celebration, and that's why we call it a party. You also want to be like leveraging social media. Of course, if you do not have a profile on social, it's time to do that. You can be posting insights, you can be posting videos, you could be talking about, how to navigate mental health as a young teen these days or screen time or whatever like the things that you love to talk about are. You get to go online and share that. Like there's never been a time where you have a platform to do that. Amazing. You can also think about writing articles on those topics. So, like, LinkedIn is a great place for that. Medium articles, and we teach you how to do this all in the course as well. If you're like, I have no idea how to do that, you can learn how to do that in the course. And you can also find options to speak at summits. I personally have spoken on a number of stages over the years, both in the US, in Florida, New Jersey, as well as internationally. I got flown to England, what was that, 2023, and paid for it, which is so exciting. And that's all because someone saw and found that I was able to speak on a certain topic that would support their audience. It's as simple as that. It is about building relationships. So I shouldn't say it's like the most simple thing, but building relationships will take you so far. Okay, the third point here, let's talk about how to pitch yourself to the media because I'm sure that's what you're asking yourself. You're like, okay, cool, I get what she's talking about, but how on earth do I do this? So you need to be finding journalists, podcast hosts, even just podcasts that would cover the topics that you want to speak about. So say it's mental health, say it's binge eating, say it's loss, say it's grief, say it's death, whatever that topic that like excites you and you want to be excited about it. Imagine I were to get on here today and like be so bored talking about this. You'd be like, cringe, boring. I like talking about this because I know that it helps you. And it's fun for me to even reflect on how I've used these in my own business over the years. So find those people and have those topics be things that are actually exciting to you. Now, you want to create a compelling email pitch. That is so, so important. And comment on this video, say pitch, and we are happy to send you a little template that could help support you on your pitching journey. So just comment pitch and we'll send that to you. Now, you also want to make sure you follow up when you're sending an email pitch. And we're talking like email, simple, simple, simple. You want to follow up and say, hey, like just making sure you got this email. And this has happened time and time again. I was actually just reflecting on this earlier today. I had pitched a yoga journal freelance writer in March. I think this is the correct timeline. I followed up with her. No answer. She emailed me back in September and was like, hi, I'm writing a story. I'm curious if like you'd like to provide some insights. As a yoga teacher, I was like, oh, I am so available for you. Yes, yoga journal. Yes, I'm available. So, just a reminder to follow up and remember that like you planting the seeds for your business and putting those feelers out there, it's going to compound. It just sometimes takes time. Like this is not overnight success all the time. So that's how we send the pitches to the media. Now, just a couple like important reminders. This will be number 4 today. It's important to remember that you don't need a huge budget for this. It's important to remember that you don't need to be like super big to start public relations or to start your press journey. We recommend like getting started now. A lot of companies that we've seen have a lot of success. They've implemented PR early on because you need brand awareness. Like PR and marketing go hand in hand. So you need that brand awareness to get the ball rolling on what it is that you're doing, why you're doing. Another thing to like make sure you're not doing is I wouldn't recommend just sending like generic pitches. Personalization goes really far. So take a look at what that podcast talks about. Take a look at what that writer writes about on a weekly basis. You can go on, type in their name plus muckrack on Google, and you'll see the articles that they write. And last but not least, like utilize social media because journalists are using social media as well. So maybe give them a follow, see what they're talking about. Like just like be human and also make sure your profile looks good. That's going to be really, really important here. And number five, don't forget after you've secured some placements, update your website, update your socials. Now, as a therapist, like utilize this to your advantage. Let your community know, let potential clients know that you are a subject matter expert on this topic. It's going to support that buying decision when you are, talking to a potential new client because they're going to see that you have that added layer of credibility and trust. And we just find that it kind of moves the needle a little bit faster because it's one thing for us to talk about our own business and it's a whole other thing for another platform to like mention or quote us. It just adds that third party endorsement, as we like to call it here at Visibility on Purpose. So that's all, folks. If you are a therapist, a psychotherapist, like licensed clinical social worker, you're looking to grow your brand through PR in 2025, these are my 5 tips for you today. Drop a comment below, ask us your questions, comment pitch. We'll send you an example. Thank you so much for being here today, and I'll talk to you. If you liked this video like this today, share it with a friend. We like creating this free content. It's actually super fun. So help us help you reach more people by commenting, liking, and subscribing. Thanks so much for being here today. See ya.